1 of the 2015 Under-20 Women's NTC Invitational Tournament. Today's second match features the Under-20 Women's National Team of the United States taking on the Under-20 Women's National Team of Japan.
Welcome to match day 1 of the U-20 NTC Women's Invitational. And the second match of the day is a match that's worthy of a final in any tournament, yet it's the first match for each of these two teams as the U-20 USA Women's National Team gets set to take on the U-20 Women's National Team. And these teams have a history of meeting. The U-17s played in the NTC tournament on day 3 in what was technically a final, and the U.S. came out on top 2-1. And for both these teams, they are getting set as they prepare for qualifying for their respective regions. For the U.S., they're getting ready for CONCACAF Championship qualifying that will be held December 3rd through the 13th in San Pedro Sula, Honduras, where Japan, theirs comes a bit earlier. Theirs comes August 18th through the 29th in Nanjing, China, and they know their opponents already. They will be facing off against China and Uzbekistan as well as Australia. So 3 teams that'll be very tough, as this is a Japan U-20 team that missed out on the World Cup the last time around by 1 goal on +8 to +7 goal difference to China. So they are looking to get back to the U-20 World Cup. And of course, for this Japanese team, plenty of these players are players who were members of the U-17 World Cup winning team that won the tournament last year in Costa Rica. For this U.S. U-20 team, well, they went to the quarterfinals last year of the U-20 World Cup, drawing North Korea 1-1 in the quarterfinals, and then going out 3-1 on penalties. And so the start of a new cycle as the U.S. and Japan enter onto the field on day 1 here of the U-20 2015 NTC Invitational. Let's go down to the field and listen to the starting lineups and the playing of the national anthems, and then we'll have the call of the first half for you right here on U.S. Soccer.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem of Japan, followed by the national anthem of the United States.
So the two teams going through the customary handshakes. The first game between Mexico and Brazil finished 1-0 in favor of Brazil on a 52nd minute Olympico from Brenna. And it was a game that Mexico really should have won. They had the majority of the chances. And this is a game I think you're going to see played at a much higher rate, a much higher tempo. These two teams like to play at pace, like to play at speed. And you're going to see less of a physical battle, although the U.S. can be very physical. But here they're going to have to be very disciplined against a Japanese team, which is known at all levels for being the best country at moving off the ball, certainly when it comes to the women's game.
For today's match is Reina Fonseca, assisted by Kristen Patterson and Melissa Gonzalez. The fourth official is Samantha Mose.
Confirmation of your referees. Reina Fonseca will be in the middle. Kristen Patterson will be the AR1 on the near side. On the benches, Monica Gonzalez will be the assistant referee number 2 on the far side, and Samantha Mose will be the fourth official, who will have to take an earful at times from Michelle French and Asako Takakura. Two coaches that have played for their respective countries. Michelle French, of course, played in the Olympics in 2000 and had 14 caps for the U.S., as well as playing in the WUSA with the Freedom. Finished her career with the Sounders before becoming a coach for the Seattle Sounders women, and then in 2013 joined the national team at the U-20 level, although she has been involved with youth national team programs since 2005. And the one thing you love if you watch Michelle French coach is that she is so positive with her players, and she explains every single drill to them before they do it and why they're doing it. She says this is a group that is not only technically superior to any group that she's ever seen, but is very tactically astute, so they can do the things that they want to do with this team. And so they're very excited about this team as they're playing their 4th international of 2015 after going 3-0 at the La Manga tournament in Spain, in which they won all 3 games by a famous U.S. score of 2-0 against the likes of Norway, Holland, and Sweden. For Japan, this is their first international of 2015 at the U-20 level. Head coach Asako Takakura saying that their domestic fixture list is just so crowded that they don't really have time to get their players together for more than 2 to 3 days at a time. And even then, they can't really schedule internationals because they don't have the time to travel. So this Japan team just arrived Saturday afternoon. The red, white, and blue in white. Nadeshiko, as the Japanese women teams are known, are in their famous all-blue kits. And right away you can see the high pressure and disciplined defending of the Japanese. Just trying to keep it in was Rasiopi to get it over to Mallory Pugh. Both of them were veterans of the last U-20 World Cup, even though Mallory Pugh is still just 17 years old. Pugh scored a brace in the victory against Norway to open the tournament in Spain. Has 4 goals and 11 caps at the U-20 level. And this is Pugh. Thought about out wide, and then the run was made into the channel. However, Canales can't get to it and it would go out of bounds. Goal kick for Japan in the first minute of play. So the U.S. starting the game well, keeping possession, which is something you're going to want to do against the Japan side that can run circles around you once they get possession. Michelle French telling me that this is a team that can definitely expose you, and from the times that the U.S. does get exposed against Japan, that's where they're going to learn in preparation for the tournament in San Pedro Sula in the CONCACAF U-20 Championships, where the top 3 teams will go on to the U-20 World Cup next year in Papua New Guinea. I asked Michelle French about a World Cup in Papua New Guinea, and she said, we don't mention the World Cup. So focusing just on this NTC tournament to learn a little bit more about their squad, to make the adjustments that they need to make, and then they're going to go on focusing on mimicking the challenges and the conditions that they might face in San Pedro Sula in getting ready for that tournament in December. as the U.S. wins the first corner kick of the game. It comes in the 3rd minute. Jordan Hart coming over to take. Winning her 3rd cap, the Dallas Sting player. And it's going to be an in-swinger from the far side. 3 players camped out across the 6, and 3 atop the 18. This one comes in, and out is Matsumoto, and she takes it cleanly. Wanting to get it quickly, Matsumoto. Bit more direct than you usually expect from Japan. However, it's cleared away before Momiki can get to it. And Rasiopi leaves it off for Sabrina Flores. Lovely ball inside from Flores. Pugh, that's a good cross. And there was a player loitering at the back post, but Japan were able to get it away. Momiki, the 19-year-old, looking to send it long again. Instead, she's going to take the space. Ogle, standing as that shield in front of the back 4, did a good job to delay just enough so that Canales could get back. And now winning the ball off of Hasegawa is Ogle. So good work from the Big Ten freshman of the year out of Penn State. As Kobayashi wins it for Japan. Gets it right. Well stepped in from Sabrina Flores. Rasiopi. Ogle. And good work from the Ohio native to get it out of pressure. Good turn from Sabrina Flores. The New Jersey native was looking inside for Pugh, rather played it behind her, and the counterattack could be on. And slipping right as she was about to shoot was Hasegawa. One of 9 players that won the U-17 World Cup with the U-17s on this U-20 squad. Hasegawa plays for Nippon TV Beleza. I'm not sure whether the 18-year-old was thinking about crossing and caught in between 2 minds when she slipped on the shot. Either way, it was easy in the end for Casey Murphy getting the start over Samantha Leeshank tonight. Murphy had 2 shutouts at the La Manga tournament, and the good high pressure coming in. Hara's over, and it's won back by Mallory Pugh. Rasiopi spins away. Pugh takes the space, gets through the channel looking for Rasiopi, and cleared away by Japan. Hasegawa, little touch out wide, and Japan looking to counter, although the red, white, and blue do a good job to get numbers back. Mitsutani, it's a good ball forward, and it's an even better clearance from Natalie Jacobs. The 17-year-old from Slammers FC earning her 4th U-20 cap tonight. Michaela Harvey. Long searching ball for Kobayashi. Squares up to Sabrina Flores. The double team arrives in the space of Har, however, played inside. And good chance to create the opening opportunity and the opening goal for Japan. And what a gorgeous curler that was. Yuki Mitsutani, the 19-year-old, in the 6th minute, got the ball in the channel, just turned, and curled it around the outstretched arm of Casey Murphy, who could do nothing about it even at full stretch. So the USA goes down early. What kind of response can they conjure up here? Rasiopi.
Goal scored for Japan in the 7th minute by number 11, Yuki Mitsutani, assisted by number 20, Rikako Kobayashi.
Rikako Kobayashi with the assist. on a gorgeous curling effort from Yuki Mutsutani. And one back by Pugh. Pugh looking to run, going against Ichise, gets inside of her, over and covers Norimatsu, and Pugh almost got it over the arm of Matsumoto. Good response in the 9th minute from Mallory Pugh. Shot just too tall in the end. Great job to come over and cover, though. As Norimatsu, a full international, was beaten. But she got help from her back line, and it caused enough pressure to put Pugh's shot over the net. Jacobs on the far side. Working against Momiki. Ogle fighting for it. Taken away from her by the goal scorer. And Yuki Mitsutani, who scored from the near side, is doing the defensive work all the way over on the far. So the U.S. trailing 1-0 in the 11th minute on a goal from 16 yards out, played into the far post from Yuki Mitsutani. Norimatsu brings it down on the chest. Gives it back to Ichise, one of the players who started that U-17 final against Spain. Header won by Real. Will play her college ball at Penn State next season. And this one will go all the way through for Casey Murphy. No shutout here tonight for the 19-year-old, but nothing she could do about that shot from Yuki Mutsutani. Sabrina Flores. We just watched her twin sister play with Mexico against Brazil, Monica Flores. 219 their soccer together at Notre Dame. And it's going to be a throw-in on the far side. Maddie Elliston over to take. Elliston, who plays at Penn State University as well, made the Big Ten all-freshman team. And does a good job to spin away from pressure. Tried to clip it forward, but Japan were wise to it. Thrown for the U.S., quickly taken. Rasiopi working along the end line. Trying to win the second corner kick for the U.S., but instead it will be a goal kick for Japan. One thing that Japan's head coach, Asako Takakura, was really worried about before this game was she said that our players are very small and we lack speed. And she said we've always been known for our discipline, for our movement, for our passing. However, now all the big physical teams like the USAs, like the Germanys, can play that way. So not only are they big and physical, but now they can play the same style we can. So I think we're going to have problems for years to come. We're going to see if she's right here tonight, but so far, her side are looking well with a 1-0 lead very early on. Goal coming in just the 7th minute. And they have possession through Miyagawa. Sidesteps the first challenge and pokes it on for Sumida. Off for Ichise over to the far side. Flicked on and Momiki was unable to keep it in. So it'll be a throw-in. Either way, it was going out for a goal kick. In the end, a throw-in probably suits Japan better. Well, the last time the Stars and Stripes were in Japan was in 2012, and they won the U-20 World Cup. Japan in that tournament finished third, losing to Germany in the semifinals, and then the USA beating Germany, I believe, by a score of 2-0. This Japan U-20 side, the most successful in the Asian Football Confederation, with 3 AFC U-20 titles at the women's level. Kobayashi, 17-year-old, quickly closed down. Won back by Michaela Harvey. However, poked away, but Pugh's chasing, and Norimatsu wins the battle. Sumida, 19-year-old, sprays it out wide. Japan really stretching the field, now looking to come inside. Sumida looking to pull the strings. Stepping up and firing right into the arms was Yuki Mitsutani, looking for her second goal of the game and the tournament as well. Well, when you scored the first one with such precision, why not have a go? But this time she put it right into the arms of the awaiting Casey Murphy. Bridgewater, New Jersey native, gets it right back. That long ball looking for Rasiopi, but it goes out of bounds. Rasiopi was late in making the looping diagonal run anyways. 15th minute, 1-0 in favor of Japan, who struck in the 7th minute on a goal from Yuki Mitsutani. Miyagawa, another one of those players who started that U17 final last summer. Now with the U20s, trying to get back to the U20 World Cup after missing out last year. Jacobs let it go all the way through. And this one looking for Pugh. Stepping in, though, was the captain, Norimatsu. Plays it inside, looking for Momiki. Played across, but the offside flag was up. Flores. And Kobayashi stepped in. Flores almost won it back. Oh, and what a turn that was. Good recovery from the U.S. defense. Otherwise, Hasegawa was in. Rasiopi continues her run. Did well to stay on side. Flag stays down as she catches up to it. 2 players are lurking at the back post. Michaela Harvey tried to cross it and instead played it right across the top of the box to a blue jersey. But Pugh steps in. Thought about the shot, now takes the space out wide. Now goes for the effort, and it's deflected out for the second corner kick of the game for the U.S. So another in-swinger. 1 player on the keeper, 3 players on the prowl at the back post. 2 players looking to make delayed runs in from the top corner of the box. And this one rather played short. It cleared right to the top of the box, and if Pugh had been wise to it, she might have gotten to it first. Instead, Nadeshko are able to clear it away. Nadeshko is the nickname for the Japanese women's national teams at all levels. Elliston battling on the far side, and she will win the throw-in. Earning her first cap tonight, Elliston, for the U20s, and it's been a part of the player pool since 2010, but really being thrown into the fire here at the U20 level against Japan. Sumida, Norimatsu, Miyagawa has shaped out to this near side. And here's the pressure that French wants. Michaela Harvey's chasing. Beautiful ball played over the top. And Kobayashi tried to flick it on, but Shiraki wasn't there. And then clearing it away was Elliston before Momiko could get to it on the far side. Mitsutani. That ball lacking the necessary pace to reach Momiki. This time Mitsutani has her pocket picked. Wins it right back, Mitsutani. And the U.S. looking weary of getting caught out. However, French wants her team to play higher. That one played behind Miyagawa. Be a throw in for Sabrina Flores. Was looking for Har. Kobayashi steps in and wins it again. Has the beating of Flores. Kobayashi walking in and tried to catch the keeper, but well aware of it was Casey Murphy. Kobayashi was waiting her to slide over and look for the cross and then try and sneak it in the near post, but keeping her feet was Casey Murphy. Great job from the New Jersey goalkeeper. And that's something that the U.S. has worked on in training with their goalkeepers, is having them stay on their feet till the last second and work on their timing when to go down. They don't want them to go down too early. And right there, you see an example of their training paying off. So many keepers would have slid over expecting that cross. But Kobayashi unable to make a very smart Casey Murphy look silly. Well, it was real. I'm not sure if she was trying to play that back to the keeper. Natalie Jacobs saves her from an embarrassing situation. Flores. Good strength from Jordan Harvey. One back in midfield by Pugh. Does a good job to ride the challenge. It gets it out wide to Elliston. Was looking for Canales on the far side. As Sumida looking to conduct the orchestra for Japan once again. This time goes back to Norimatsu. And the U.S. giving the ball away too cheaply at the moment. Can't do that against this Japanese side. However, well stepped in and won back by Real. Harvey plays it into the channel for Rasiopi. Had to wait up for that ball, but now is looking to run. Cuts inside the first defender and was looking for the shot. Takes the deflection, and Matsumoto will not get over in time. It'll be the third corner kick of the game for the Stars and Stripes. Will it be third time lucky for the USA? Is Ogle coming over to take it? Had an assist in the 2-0 win against Holland, Ogle. Can she get one here from the corner kick? This one played to the far post, all the way over, and unable to put it back across goal was a U.S. attacker. So it'll be a goal kick for Japan. Mamiko Matsumoto, just 17 years of age, kept goal in that final against Spain when Japan won the U-17 World Cup in Costa Rica last summer. One of 9 players who triumphed in Central America last year on this U-20 roster, looking to get Japan back into the U-20 World Cup after their absence in 2014. Smartly stepping inside is Jacobs. Was looking for the long ball over the top to Pugh. Instead, it's Japan to go the other way. And the offside flag will go up against Yui Hasegawa. Have an unofficial clock up here. Believe we're around the 24th minute. 1-0 in favor of Japan, courtesy of a goal of Yuki Mitsutani. And it was a gorgeous strike from just inside the box, curled from inside the near side to the far post. Absolutely nothing Casey Murphy could do after a beautiful feed from Kobayashi that split two defenders. And the U.S. has been trailing since the 7th minute. Harvey trying to change that. Rasiopi fighting two Japanese defenders. And it's won back by Sumida. Hasegawa gets it out wide, and just look at the way Japan moves off the ball. Pass intended for Hasegawa, rather played behind her. And now the long ball looking for Rasiopi. Matsumoto gets there first. Well, Japan will use the width when it's given to them. Usually, though, they like to attack by having players check into the middle, and then they'll get it out wide if the space is on. But just as you see there, they love to play it into those pockets of space and then look for either of those through balls or then to get it out wide. The U.S. wise to it on this occasion, and they win a free kick. Real. Flores. Kobayashi keeps a watchful eye on her. And Norimatsu wins it back. Velvet touch from Sumida. Kobayashi. Can only play in the first two games, Kobayashi. Her and Ichise have to go back on the 5th due to club commitments. So Japan will lose 2 players before their final game with Mexico on the 6th. Pugh steps in and wins the ball back. Leaves it off for Jacobs. Murphy has been beaten once but made a tremendous save as well on Kobayashi, who walked in one-on-one. Inside for Michaela Harvey. Texas A&M product gets it out wide. And Ogle spins. Sabrina Flores making a run up this near flank. Now has the cut inside the channel, but it's cleared away by Miyagawa. Only as far as Ogle. Pugh, who's been given a free roll, was waiting for it in the middle. Now she's going to check in. Lovely 1-2 on the wing. Perhaps a bit too heavy. Nope, able to catch up to it. It's a good ball in. And Harvey was arriving late. Japan able to clear it out, but it's the 4th corner kick of the game for the Stars and Stripes. The U.S. team that's looking to stay undefeated in 2015. Won their first 3 international matches in Spain. However, trailing here 1-0 to a 7th minute goal from Mitsutani. This one played toward the near post, and coming out and punching it away was Matsumoto. Excellent job by Real to quell the counterattack. And the U.S. has all 10 outfield players inside the Japanese half. Looking for the long ball, but cleared away. And now Japan running 3-on-5. More blue jerseys pouring forward. What a touch from Norimatsu. Miyagawa. Kobayashi splits it inside. What a deft turn that is from Mitsutani. Leaves it off for Sumida. As Japan moved the ball from side to side, but the cross in goes wanting. Natalie Jacobs clears it to safety. Ogle did well to step into the channel and not allow that ball played in. At the expense of a throw-in, though. Yui Hasegawa wanted it back. Now Hasegawa gets it. Little touch off. And this is Kitagawa. Went for the cross and wins the first corner kick of the game for Japan. Domination play that the Japanese women are renowned for at all levels. USA still doing a good job not to allow the cross, but at the expense of a corner. This will be an outswinger from the far side. Japan worked on corner kicks in training. One of them was to the far post, looking for a player to clear out. This one played into the middle, rather. Only as far as Miyagawa, and she decides to have a hit. In the end, almost out for a throw-in rather than a goal kick, but it will be a goal kick for the U.S. Around the half-hour mark, U.S. trailing 1-0 to Japan on a 7th-minute goal from Mitsutani. Kobayashi slid the ball to her just inside the box through a double team. Mitsutani took one touch to settle and another to curl it to the far post. And Japan, for the most part, has possessed the game. The U.S. has done a good job to keep them at bay, but haven't really created too many chances of note of their own. Pugh had one good effort that went over the bar. As so far, it's been all Japan. However, something could be on here via the counterattack. Pugh skips by her midfield defender, trying to put the ball through to Rasiopi, but played it with a bit too much venom, and it goes all the way through to the keeper. Norimatsu, Kobayashi. Neatly bought down by Real. And Jacobs gets it back to her keeper. And even though French won't be happy with the fact that her team is down 1-0, this is where the coaches and the players really learn about what they need to work on and what they need to do, as almost the chance for an equalizer and the 5th corner kick of the game coming up for the U.S. Good vertical attack from the U.S. there. What I was about to say was they learn from these mistakes what they need to do to compete with the top teams at the international level. And when they get exposed like that, that's where they can learn where they need to tighten things up on defense and how they can attack teams better. But that attack looked good there as it earned a corner kick. And a chance for the U.S. to equalize just after the half-hour mark. It's a good ball in. Rasiopi's lurking. Still fighting for it in the box. And it's poked out wide. And Michaela Harvey will be with her. She stuck out a foot and was just beaten to the ball. No malicious intent, but Mitsutani got there first. Miku Matsumoto to take this goal, free kick, rather. Over the head of Harvey, rather hit Flores in the face, and is out of bounds for a throw-in. And Kobayashi, leaving the ball off for Miyagawa, actually allowed the U.S. to regain its shape. As Shiraki was all alone in that pocket of space, had they played that quickly into her, something could have been on for Japan. Japan pouring forward through Kitagawa. They always look for those little balls into the channels. Now it's played across, right to Mitsutani. Oh, and you expected after the first goal that she would have gotten proper contact on that one, and now it's Pugh off to the races. And no free kick, says the referee. Slide rule pass looking for Kobayashi. Falls for Mitsutani. Can't curl it in this time. Pugh was irked. Couldn't believe that no free kick was given. And it almost led to the second goal of the game for Japan. From Pugh as well, as she slalomed in and out of 2 or 3 players before she went to ground. Norimatsu with the header. Ogo elects to play it on the ground for Pugh, trying to touch it around Kirigawa. Kirigawa does a good job to get back and face up to Pugh. Textbook one-on-one defending, and she gets some help on the double team as well. This ball will go the way of the U.S. So we are heading into the final 10 minutes of first half regulation time. Canales was checking in. That wasn't the ball that the U.S. wanted to play. And instead it's Rasiopi winning another throw-in for the U.S. Harvey has popped up on the far side, tried to play it in quickly, and wins another corner kick. 6th of the game for the U.S. to Japan's 1, but they have yet to make them count. Six players stationed in and around the box for the USA. Japan has all but 1 player back in the box. And they thought about playing it short. Now it comes in right to the penalty spot. Still a chance. Flicked past the goalkeeper and saved off the line. Ogle was so close to her first international goal. How did that stay out? 8th corner, or 7th rather, for the U.S. Delightfully floated ball into the center, and the U.S. did a great job of keeping it alive and then almost poking it past the keeper. Believe was Ogle. And if there was a save of the game feature, we'll save that one for the reel because that could be it. The U.S. just unable to break Japanese resistance. And now Japan with a chance to attack after the U.S. has dominated the last 3 or 4 minutes. Most comfortable when they're in possession, Japan. We talked earlier about how Japan hasn't played any internationals this year. All their scrimmages in their camps have been against men's teams. And when I asked Coach Takakura about that, she said we need to play men's teams because we need to get used to the pace and physicality of the international game. And that's the only way we're going to be able to do it if we're going to compete with the likes of the Germanys and the US's. Good combination play between Flores and Har. Har wins it back. And Flores unable to keep it in, as Kobayashi was policing her. Norimatsu, the only player on either roster who's featured for the full international team. Miyagawa. Sumida. Looking for Kobayashi, but it's catching practice for Murphy. Well, the U.S. so close to leveling things at 1, but the ball cleared off the line after a corner kick just a few minutes ago. As so far, it's just Mitsutani's 7th minute strike that's holding up for Japan. Good hustle from Yui Hasegawa. It will be a U.S. throw-in, but it keeps the ball in their end. Space for Japan to operate. Sumida thought about the shot, instead played it through. Kobayashi helped it on, and it's the second goal for Japan. Beautiful flick through by Kobayashi. And it's Yui Hasegawa who makes it 2-0 in favor of Nadeshiko. Not the start that the USA thought of when they pictured the opening of this 2015 U-20 NTC Invitational. Michelle French has been working hard with her team on defending, on the angles that you need to take, and on the second and third defenders, reading the cues from the first defender. Well, this is the perfect team to practice and learn against. Players who not only pass the ball beautifully, but disguise their passes so well. And those delayed third runs are just top class from the Japanese. And here we go again. Japan looking for more. Is that one skipping just past Shiraki? And safety first from Real. Asako Miyagawa. Inside for Shiraki. She was dispossessed, but it's won back by Hasegawa. And it's a bit of an audacious effort. And it will go wide for a goal kick.
Scored for Japan in the 38th minute by number 13, Yui Hasegawa, assisted by number 20, Rikako Kobayashi.
So the U.S. in a 2-0 hole. Goals from Mitsutani and Hasegawa, both coming off of the foot of Kobayashi. 2 assists in this game for Japan's number 20. And there she is popping up once again. Has the space, this time trying to slide it through for Shiraki. However, Flores is there. And it went off of Flores' last in the assistant referee's point of view. So Kristen Patterson points her flag towards Japan's goal. The throw-in quickly takes a nice little flick on from Sumida. Leaves it off for Miyagawa. Pugh. Looking to go right at the heart of the Japanese defense, Pugh, and once again, a bit too overzealous in that ball, looking for the run of Rasiopi behind the Japanese back line. And that's one thing Norimatsu said in an interview after the matches against the men's teams in the likes of Shumisu S. Pulse's youth men's team, is that Japan has to get to their defensive spots quickly, or else more physical teams like the U.S. and Germany or Australia will take advantage. So far, you see their discipline tonight. Har. Michaela Harvey plays it back to Natalie Jacobs. Jacobs plays it into the pocket of space for Pugh. Has time to turn, looking to run at the defense once again. Not sure whether that was a cross looking inside for Harvey or whether it was a shot, but in the end, it's a deflection, and it is going to be the 8th corner kick of the game for the U.S. Just the second one from this side. Ogle over to take the corner kick. In-swinger from the near side. Everybody camped out at the far side. Now they make their runs in, and the keeper does just enough to push it away, but the U.S. able to keep it in, and Japan finally clear their lines. Ogle. And it just seems like Japan always get that second player in time to create an odd-man situation in every part of the field. Whether it's 2-on-1s or 3v2s. Kale steps in. Off Japan last. And Sabrina Flores will come over to take the throw in. Good job from Flores there as Real stepped in out wide. Flores went into the center to cover for her just in case. Rasiopi, lovely cut inside Kobayashi. Into the center for Ogle. And that should be a handball on Ogle after she was dispossessed by Yui Hasegawa. On the stroke of halftime, a player takes a tumble. Nothing doing, says the referee. Precision distribution from Casey Murphy. Jordan Haar loses out to Hasegawa. It's the 13 in blue, wins the battle of the 13s. And Kobayashi looking to create again. Out wide for Hasegawa. Unable to step inside Real. Rasiopi checks. Miyagawa all over her. And Mitsutani coming over to help. And off of Rasiopi last. As this time it's Mitsutani who wins the battle of the 11s. However, Rasiopi wins the war. Now she's going 1-on-4. Switching it to the far side. But Canales unable to get there in time. Kirigawa will get there first. And Japan will recycle their runs. Ichise. Miyagawa. Now the high pressure starting to pay off from the U.S. Hasegawa. Plays it in between the lines. Japan looking for a third. Mitsutani thought about the shot. Instead, plays it over to Kobayashi. Can she architect her third goal? No, she can, as the offside flag is up. As we are now into stoppage time, and a minimum of 1 minute will be added.
The referee has added a minimum of 1 minute of stoppage time to the first half.
And the U.S. has had their chances, but they trail 2-0 heading into stoppage time on two beautifully crafted goals by the Japanese. Can the U.S. pull one back before the teams go into the locker room? Ball given off to Shiraki, and Murphy unable to get to it in time. It's going to be the second corner kick of the game. Can Japan perhaps put themselves into an insurmountable lead before halftime? Taking a drink of water before the corner kick. I guess you can do that when you're up 2-0, but when you're in stoppage time, everything should be done with a bit more urgency. Is this one played in? U.S. cleared only as far as the top of the box in the volley. And Murphy was scrambling, but she watches it go wide. So that could most likely be the last action of the first half, as the U.S. will look to regroup. Murphy's goal kick, and there goes the whistle from Reina Fonseca. The U.S. playing well, but Japan passing and moving at a world-class level, and two beautifully crafted goals were both started by Kobayashi and finished off first by Mitsutani and then by Hasegawa. And at halftime, it is the U.S. 0, Japan 2. We're going to take a break up here in the booth, but we'll be back with you for the second half here on U.S. Soccer. Getting all set for the final 45 minutes of day one at the U-20 2015 NTC Invitational. Beating the U.S. 2-0, and they have the ball to start the second half. 2 substitutions made by the U.S. at halftime. Ashley Sanchez getting her first U-20 cap after scoring 11 goals and 5 caps at the U-17 level.
Number 14,
Megan Buckingham, the Michigan Gatorade Player of the Year, is also in for Jordan Haar.
Number 17, Ashley Sanchez, and leaving the game, number 5, Michaela Harvey.
And Sanchez came in for Michaela Harvey. Ashley Sanchez scored 5 goals in February's U-17 NTC Invitational. Scored a hat trick against Mexico, and then scored goals in the wins over both Canada and Japan, as the U.S. went 3-0 in that tournament, including a 2-1 win on the final day over Japan. Also had hat tricks in each of her first 2 matches as a U-17 international against South Korea in a 2-game set over in the Far East. And so Sanchez, a real special moment for her, even though the U.S. down 2-0. Coach French saying she brings a real unique spark to the offense when she's out on the field. But the ball's given away by Ogle. And almost the second goal for Mitsutani. Scored just 7 minutes into the first half and almost scored a minute 30 into the second, and earns the 3rd corner kick of the game for Japan. The U.S. had 8 corners to Japan's 2 in the first half, and had 1 cleared off the line, and another that was bouncing around in the box, could have gone anywhere, was finally cleared out by Japan. So this game could very well be 2-2. However, 2 magical passes from Kobayashi opened up opportunities for first Mitsutani and then Hasegawa. And Japan looking for a third via the set piece. This one played to the near post, however, doesn't clear the first defender. Japan worked in training on Sunday on their corner kicks. Mitsutani. Ball lacking really any pace, but still no U.S. players out quickly enough. I think they're still playing a bit too afraid to get caught out by the passing of Japan, the U.S. However, they clear their lines here. Heavy touch for Ogle. Hasegawa wins it back, but cleared away. Kitagawa faces up to the substitute Buckingham, gets the ball inside. Oh, and a chance is opened up here. And no foul, says the referee, is getting a vital touch on the ball. Was the defender. Otherwise, that would have definitely been a penalty. It was Natalie Jacobs, and if she didn't get a touch, then Shiraki would have gone to ground, and it definitely would have been a penalty. Rasiopi, unable to cut inside, was looking for that run of the substitute. Hasegawa keeps it in, but Elliston gets there first. Jacobs cuts inside. And Kitagawa first to the ball before Rasiopi. One back by Real. And Pugh to spring the U.S. attack, going the other way. And it peters out in midfield as Mitsutani gets back. Her and Kobayashi have combined so well together. Kitagawa needs to tie her shoe quickly, Kitagawa. She was one of the options, but a bit busy. Good tackle. Pugh overtakes. Into the pocket once again. Elliston is taken off on this far side, near side rather, if they can find her. But instead it's headed by Buckingham into the arms of Matsumoto. 17-year-old taking her time, will put the ball on the floor. Kitagawa. Buckingham will be a freshman at UNC the coming fall. Ogle. Pass for Elliston didn't reach her intended target. A chance at the top of the box for Sumita to hit one. Flying at full stretch was Casey Murphy, but she didn't have to worry about it as it flashes wide of her near post. However, the two Penn State players unable to connect, and it opened the door for Japan to almost score their third. So we're in the 51st minute. Japan leading on goals in the 7th and 38th minute. Both Kobayashi finished by Mitsutani and then Hasegawa. And so far, in the first 6 minutes plus change of this second half, the U.S. have had more of the ball. However, Japan's created the only opportunity of note. The USA trying to chisel their way down the far flank in the 52nd minute. Ogle played behind her. And the break could be on here for Nadeshko. Sumita. Momiki. Oh, what a touch from Sumita, and gets it right back. And Kitagawa's off in space. The overlapping run allows her to pull it back into the center. Good defending from Natalie Jacobs. Oh, and played back to the keeper coming out, but Casey Murphy playing it out wide. Looked calm with her first touch, but then a bit hurried with her second. And of course, she was put into a very awkward situation. Elliston rides the challenge. Rasiopi. Buckingham tried to play it through as Ashley Sanchez was making a diagonal run forward, but Japan were alert. And Shiraki will leave it off out wide. Norimatsu. Ichise. Kitagawa. Hasegawa. Buckingham goes up, but Kitagawa wins the battle. And Hasegawa is dispossessed by Mallory Pugh. Jacobs. Kitagawa will get there first. Rasiopi trying to apply pressure, but Kitagawa so calm under pressure, the Japanese. Time and space for Japan to pick out their passes, except for when Pugh's around. Hint of handball, but the break is on. 3-on-3, the USA trying to get it through for the run of Pugh. In the end, Sanchez's ball was cut off, but she does a great job to get back and win it. And now it's Buckingham's turn to go forward. And she tried to slip it through for Pugh, and both times the opening wasn't there. Space to eat up ground on that far side for Miyagawa, who's worked her way into the box as she plays it out wide. Now touch back into the spot where they wanted Miyagawa, and she realizes it and gets back quickly. Over the top for Sumida. She's in front, clipped over her, and Japan absolutely ruthless with their third goal of the game coming in the 56th minute. Three gorgeous goals, and this time it was started by Sumida winning that ball in midfield. Well, when their U-17 side came to town, they opened up with an 8-0 rout of Canada. The U.S. trying to avoid that same fate here in the U-20 tournament. Only 3-0 though, but 3-0 at halftime of that game when Japan exploded. This is a U.S. side, though, that has too much quality to let that happen. And they've had their chances as well, the U.S. Ball cleared off the line. A shot from Pugh that went just over. Just unable to connect the defensive end. And when you lose the ball to Japan in the midfield, you're going to be made to pay.
Goal scored for Japan in the 55th minute by number 10, Rin Sumida.
Well, Sumida started the play and finished it, winning the ball in midfield, making the run through, and then a deft lob over Casey Murphy. And the U.S. has conceded 3 goals after going 277 minutes without giving up anything in the first 3 games of the 2015 calendar year. And here's another opportunity, this time flashing wide of Murphy's near post. One goal would give the U.S. belief, though. Still plenty of time. Is this game not over by any means in the 58th minute? $3-0 in favor of Japan, though. Started the scoring early in the 7th minute from Mitsutani. And then Hasegawa in the 38th and Sumida in the 56th. And all 3 of them are ones for the highlight reels. Coming up next for Japan will be Brazil on Thursday. So that match will be at 3 o'clock Pacific kickoff time. And, of course, all matches at the U-20 right here on U.S. Soccer. And then at 6 o'clock, the U.S. will face off against Mexico in the CONCACAF rivalry. And that is certainly a foul as Shiraki goes to ground. Courtney Jacobs, the guilty party. And it'll be a free kick for Japan. And in typical fashion, Japan will keep the ball on the ground. And now the ball just played out of bounds as not sure what it is at the moment. I think that Japan just wants to get their substitutions in. Or no, they weren't happy with the ball. Either way, it's going to be both. And a triple substitution to be made by Japan. So when you win, when you're winning 3-0, make 3 substitutions. Is coming out with a huge smile on her face. It's the scorer of the first goal, Mitsutani. Miyagawa off as well. And Shiraki will leave too. Kiko Seike comes in for Shiraki. So that's one Uara Reds lady player for another. Also into the game is Hina Sugita. The 18-year-old captained the U-17 side to World Cup glory last summer.
In the 60th minute for Japan, entering the game number 14, Hina Sugita, and leaving the game number 11, Yuki Mizutani. Also entering the game, Risa Shimizu.
Risa Shimizu out of Nippon TV Beleza is the third substitution for Japan.
17, Kiko Seike, and leaving the game number 19, Akari Shiraki.
Now, will all these substitutions change the flow of the game for Japan? The probable answer is no. But head coach Asako Takakura told me before this tournament, it's not about winning. It's about getting everyone international experience, getting everyone ready for international play. And therefore, I'm not going to have an A team or a B team. Everybody is going to get the same amount of minutes. And I think that's what she's doing here. As you're allowed 6 substitutions, Japan has used 3 of them in one go. U.S. getting ready to make their second double switch. Just after the hour mark, and the U.S. and prodding, but they trail Japan 3-0 here on match day 1 of the U-20 2015 NTC Invitational. As the U.S. will win a free kick. Savannah De Melo is getting set to make her 4th international appearance. As Pugh is in, Rasiopi was there as well. Moto was the fastest. Buckingham tracking back. Nice sidestep from Sugita. Deft little flick over. Momiki gets it to Kirigawa. Kirigawa trying to get to the end line. Courtney Jacobs says no, but gives the ball right back. That's really the first time I've seen an early cross in. It's not really Japan's strength. As Coach Takakura said, we're very small. And so they usually don't cross the ball in like that in the air early. But the U.S. concede another free kick. And now the question is, will the substitution be made before it? Kristen Patterson has her flag up for a substitution, but the referee, Rainier Fonseca, not seeing it. Momiki, the lone player over the ball. And she's going to float this in toward the back stick. Just bouncing beyond Kobayashi, and a free kick, or a goal kick rather, Casey Murphy, as the U.S. get ready to hit the flick on their second double substitution. As Rasiopi's night is done. And checking in for her will be Savannah De Melo, the Beach FC player earning her 4th cap at the U-20 level. Ogle will check out as well. And coming in for her is Parker Roberts, earning her 3rd cap.
Substitutions in the 64th minute for the USA.
Roberts, just 17 years old, out of Leawood, Kansas. Plays for KC Metro Dynamos.
Taylor Rasiopi. Also entering the game, number 8, Parker Roberts, and leaving the game, number 12, Emily Ogle.
So 3 substitutions made by Japan, 4 substitutions made by the U.S. Still 3-0 in favor of the visitors from the Far East in the 65th minute. This has been what the U.S. has had to deal with, the passing and movement of Japan. They're world renowned for it. And they've put on a masterclass here today against the U.S. side that has played well. But just 3 moments of real magic from the Japanese, and that's all you need sometimes in this game. Challenge, but the long ball does not find Sanchez. And Kirigawa has time to get it back to Norimatsu. Captain, who also plays for Urawa Reds, earning just her 3rd cap with the U20s, despite having already turned out for the full national team. I'm sure she shuttles up and down between them, the Olympic team, and the full. Jacobs. And the U.S. unable to keep possession. Japan at time mesmerizing with their passing and movement as they weave pretty patterns through the midfield. Their finishes were a sight to behold as well. Especially the first and third goals. That curler from Mitsutani was a thing of beauty. And then the deft little lob over the keeper from Sumida. Won the ball in midfield, played it off, continued her run, and with the ball bouncing, she was able to flick it over. But look at the U.S. Gorgeous combination play, but unable to find the final ball, looking for Mallory Pugh. Sanchez, looking for her first goal at the U20 level, has rather been taken out wide. Somehow skips by 3 players, puts it toward the back post. And if that U.S. player on the far post had been able to rise, it could have very well been 3-1. But that's what Ashley Sanchez was able. Kirigawa. U.S. at 6 and 7s in the back, but in trouble once again. Flicked in. And still something could be on here. Played across by Momiki, and she wins the 4th corner kick of the game for the Japanese. Good positivity and encouragement coming from both Michelle French and the players on the field. Hearing stuff like, let's go White, keep working, we got this. This is a team that is very unified, that has gelled very well, has tremendous chemistry. In fact, Michelle French said the thing is, after each training camp, they raise the bar higher and higher for themselves. That's how they perform. It's the corner kick headed away at the near post. Norimatsu brings it down with a velvet touch. Flag stays down. Momiki looking to swing it in. That's more like the Japanese playing it on the ground rather than in the air. Sumida looking for her second. And you'd expect something a bit more, although it would have been something special had that become the 4th goal. Pugh with the turn. Pugh looking to run. Has the beating of Ichise. One more defender to get by. Taken outside Pugh, now has to come back with it. Has absolutely no support. Elects to play it across goal. And only 2 U.S. players loitering in the box, and they weren't able to get there in time. Savannah De Melo working feverishly and wins the ball back for the U.S. Jacobs. Elliston. Buckingham. Michigan Wolves players dispossessed. As Japan continues to methodically work their way down the pitch in the 70th minute. Now Momiki looking for something. And diving in was Elliston to get the block. Still with the ball on the far side, Japan. Curled back in, and Savannah DeMelo able to take it away. Good skill in midfield to keep the ball for the U.S. As Parker Roberts keeps checking in and out of space, but instead the ball will be flung to the far side. Ball over the top looking for Pugh. She slipped. Referee says no foul play from Ichise, and Japan overtakes. And this time the offside flag should go up, and it does. Kiko Siike getting just a bit too excited there. She knew she wanted that ball through, but she has to hold her line. And Mallory Canales' night is done. Good 71-minute shift, and coming in for her will be Courtney Peterson to get her 4th cap at the U20 level. 17-year-old out of Canton, Michigan, who plays for the Michigan Hawks.
72nd minute for Japan. Entering the game, number 15, Narumi Miura. Leaving the game, number 16, Yuka Miyomiki.
And Yuka Miyomiki will make room for Narumi Miura.
Takamura. Leaving the game, number 6, Hikaru Kitagawa. Substitution.
And Kitagawa will leave us as well.
Entering the game, number 22, Courtney Peterson.
As Takamura checks in, the 18-year-old who plays for INAC Kobe Leonese. My apologies if that's Enoch. And Japan continue to surge forward. Good tackle on the far side, but it is the 5th corner kick of the game for Japan. Their 3rd of this second half. Miura, the substitute, going over to take the corner kick. It's going to be an outswinger from the far side for the 17-year-old. Plays her club ball with Nippon TV Menina. And it's a high looping ball right to the penalty spot. And the U.S. have been bosses in those aerial battles. And then an audacious attempt off the half volley from Yui Hasegawa. But she already has one, so why not? Scored the 2nd of the 3 goals in the 38th minute, Hasegawa. And one thing Japan do so well is when they lose the ball, they win it back right away. They talked about their fear of being exposed against more physical teams. Just like this, if they don't get to their spots in time, as Pugh slides it through and Roberts unable to keep control. But that's exactly what head coach Takakura is worried about. Said with her team being small and not as physical as other sides, if they don't get to their spots quick enough, then teams will get behind them. And so that's why they work so hard to win the ball back right away, or to get their shape as quickly as possible so that they're not caught out. And the only thing stopping Japan there was the turf. Which, to be clear, is absolutely pristine. More pristine than my speech here at Glenn Mooch Mirnick Field. At that time, the Japanese player just getting her foot stuck. Elliston looking for options on the throw-in. Plays it into Pugh. Has 2 blue jerseys to deal with, and good strength shown by Pugh. Elliston trying to get it down the line. Roberts came late. Jacobs wins it back. Roberts. And the long ball into the channel where Pugh wasn't making the run. As French is now speaking to her players about team defending and the two players or the pairings that you should stay connected with every single time throughout the game. Obviously, it changes as to where you go on the field, but you should always have one or two players that you're connected with on the defensive end, and that's what French is working on with her squad at the moment. Takamura gets to the byline, puts it across. And cleared away, but not sufficiently. Finally, at the second time of asking, but only as far as Sumida, scorer of the third goal for Japan. '76th minute, and Japan putting on an exhibition. 3-0 over the Stars and Stripes, who before this game had not given up a goal in their first 3 internationals of the season. Pugh with a lovely ball into the space. Pugh gets it back. And once again, trying to dribble through 2 or 3 players when perhaps she should have laid that off. And Pugh looks to be cramping a bit as she's stretching her calf out. And that's one player the U.S. cannot afford to have go down. Especially with the qualifiers coming up in December. And one of the big deals for the U.S. with the qualifiers being in December is the fact that with many of these players in universities, they might be in the postseason still with their NCAA teams. And I asked Michelle French about that, and she said, I spoke to the players, they know what's on the table, but I also know most of their college teams might make deep postseason runs. That's a decision that they're going to have to make. She said, however, it doesn't worry her because they can draw from not only the 97s, but the 98s and even the 99s, just like Ashley Sanchez. She said, and even the U17s, that the player pool is just so deep at this level and at the U17 level that no matter who they bring to Honduras, they're going to have a very, very strong squad. So not a worry for them. However, now the worry is, what are the biggest things that they're going to take away from this match with Japan, and how are they going to go about fixing it, especially with matches coming up quickly against Mexico and then Brazil. And they're going to have to regroup quickly because anytime that rivalry is renewed against Mexico, well, you can pretty much throw everything out the window in terms of records and who's the better side and whatnot. It's going to be a fierce, fierce battle. And, of course, you can see that game on Thursday night at 6 p.m. Pacific right here on U.S. Soccer and U.S. Soccer's YouTube page. But for now, we're in the 79th minute, and it's 3-0 Japan. It'll be interesting to see how Japan does against a team that's not as tactically astute in Brazil, but will be a lot more physical than the U.S. Norimatsu. Sumida, score of the third goal, and it was a beauty. Takamura. Good triple team and stepped in by Savannah DeMelo. DeMelo's been very good in the one-on-one challenges. And good pressure being applied by Sanchez. And forces Norimatsu to play that ball behind the runner on the far side, Shimizu. And it'll be a throw for the U.S. And it's all because of the defending from the front. And after the little injury worry with Mallory Pugh, they're going to take her off just to make sure. So a good, strong 80 minutes from Mallory Pugh. And Kelsey Hedge comes on to her first cap at the U-20 level.
Substitution in the 81st minute for the USA. Entering the game, number 7, Kelsey Hedge. Leaving the game, number 9, Mallory Pugh.
Kelsey Hedge enrolled early at the University of Washington in order to get a spring season in. She'll play her first full season in the fall with the University of Washington, the 2013 Idaho Player of the Year. And her first job is to keep the ball and then have it poked away by Nori Matsu. Jacobs, Elliston. Good turn from Savannah DeMelo and a good job to get that ball away under heavy pressure. She's represented Beach FC well today, Savannah DeMelo. DeMelo checks in the pocket, and that was a rather heavy ball back, and a great job by Elliston to keep it in. Hedge has to chase. All the way back to Matsumoto, working on a shutout. As we are inside the final 10 minutes of the 90. Takamura. Lovely ball slipped into the gap. Saike couldn't get there in time. Saike gets there before Buckingham. Was a bit too fancy trying the back heel, though. But Japan maintained possession. Good work from Parker Roberts. Able to poke that one away. And now Hedge is chasing. Norimatsu thought about the long ball and instead decided just to keep it. Shimizu on the far side. And the U.S. win it through Courtney Peterson. It's a very young U.S. side picked for this tournament by Michelle French. Plenty of 17-year-olds on this roster. And that's exactly what they need, that international experience at this level to know what it's going to take. Not only to qualify, but go on and win a U-20 World Cup and to move up through those ranks. Seven players born in '96, which is the cutoff for next summer's World Cup in Papua New Guinea. 9 born in 1997, 4 in '98, and then Sanchez in '99. Elliston. And the idea was good from Hedge, but Buckingham just couldn't get there in time. Perhaps a bit too much mustard on that pass from Hedge. Every single touch from Japan just seems so assured. And good defending on the far side to win the throne for the U.S. (3-0) Japan lead as we head into the dying embers of this match. Earlier match between Mexico and Brazil finished 1-0 in favor of the Brazilians on a 52nd minute Olympico from Brenna. Other than that, though, the Mexicans dominated the game, missed 2 breakaways. This is better from the U.S. Oh, lovely turn to spin away from trouble. Savannah DeMelo looking to play it into the space for Elliston, but Takamura was wise to it. We talk about the Japanese passing, but their reading of the game on the defensive end is so good as well. As we said, they told us that they have to get to the spaces first because they're physically inferior. That's their words, not mine. Takamura. Little ball into the channel. Well read by Courtney Jacobs. Peterson dispossessed. And something still might be on here for Nadeshko. And the cross from Hasegawa yields the 6th corner kick of the game for Japan. As we are inside the final 5 minutes, and Japan will make its last substitution. And the player came off behind the field, so entering into the game for Japan is going to be Sonoda. So Sonoda's first action is get right into the box. And we have a false start. And now we're going to play it short. Sumida.
Substitution in the 86th minute for Japan. Entering the game, number 12, Mizuki Sonoda. Leaving the game,
good double team by the U.S. to win the ball back and not allow the cross. Hasegawa leaves the game in the 85th minute, but not before she struck the second goal in the 38th minute. And it was a good finish from Hasegawa, but once again, it was all the work of Kobayashi, who had the assist on the first 2 goals. DeMelo. 3 blue jerseys quickly close her down. And the pass forward for Saike. And this might work out here for Kobayashi. Shoots it right into the arms of a well-positioned Casey Murphy. But Kobayashi, well, if she scored, she certainly deserved that one. Jacobs. DeMelo. Has been calm on the ball, DeMelo. And has picked out the right passes as well. Jacobs has been impressive as well in the center. As Hedge loses out. And Sanchez does well to keep possession for the U.S. via the throw-in. Inside the final 2 minutes of the 90. And what a move from Sanchez. Still going, Sanchez. Got by the first lady, but couldn't get past second base. Elliston with the throw-in. And we'll do it again. Can't imagine, even with all the substitutions, that there would be much stoppage time added on to the end of this one. Really no reason for it. My guess would be 2 minutes at the most. Sonoda chasing. Good job by Rila, even though she slipped, to get up and win that ball back. Well, the U.S.'s defense in the last 20 minutes has been a lot better as Japan has been unable to breach their back line, other than Kobayashi getting through and firing that shot on Murphy. But Murphy kept a perfect angle and came out to cut it down. Japan also taking their foot off the gas just a little bit. And, of course, right as I say that, they step on it with the long ball looking for Sumida. Well, and Sumida almost caught that one. And just look at how they continue to fight and battle and work, even though they're up 3-0 in the last minute. In fact, we are now into stoppage time. And here comes the board in just 1 minute. No real reason to drag this one on.
Minimum of 1 minute of stoppage time to the end of the match.
Sonoda. Good, strong challenge on the far side. But it will be a throw-in for Japan. Next up for Japan on Thursday will be Brazil. That will be a 3 p.m. Pacific kickoff time. And, of course, you can catch all the action right here on U.S. Soccer and U.S. Soccer's YouTube page. And make no mistakes about it, the U.S. are still one of the top 5 teams in the world at the U-20 level, but this has been absolute exhibition stuff from the Japanese here this afternoon. The U.S. really, when you think about it, has hardly had a sniff of the ball. DeMelo's done well when it's been at her foot, though. But even just the high pressure, really nowhere to go with it. And a very dangerous back pass. Jacobs deals well with the pressure of Sonoda, who was hassling her. But Japan overtake once again. Flicked in, looking for the run of Seike. The U.S. able to repel it. Can the U.S. strike in stoppage time? Unable to keep the ball in was Courtney Peterson despite her best efforts. Now, Reina Fonseca has not looked at her watch. And it might give Ashley Sanchez a chance to go and grab a consolation here. Sanchez twisting, turning, and firing right into the defender, Ichise. Peterson still going, but her touch too heavy as it goes out of bounds for a Japanese goal kick. And Fonseca hasn't looked at her watch, but the 1 minute of stoppage time has certainly elapsed. And now she puts the whistle into the ready position, and as soon as this kick goes, she will call the game, and that is it. Absolutely ruthless. Nadeshiko have come over from Japan, and they put the U.S. on the back foot early on with a 7th minute goal from Mitsutani. And then in the 38th minute, Hasegawa finished to make it 2-0. Both of those goals were crafted off of wonderful passes from Kobayashi. And then for good measure, Sumito won the ball in the 56th minute, laid it off, continued her run, and got it back. And as it was bouncing in the box and Casey Murphy was chasing her, she deftly lobbed it over the 6-foot keeper and put it into the net for the 3rd and final goal. So the U.S. will have to regroup as they have a CONCACAF rivalry to think about with Mexico on Thursday. And for Japan, they're going to rest their legs and get ready to face Brazil. Japan versus Brazil will take place at 3 p.m. on Thursday Pacific time. And then at 6 o'clock, it's the CONCACAF rivalry renewed, the U.S. versus Mexico. And both those matches can be seen right here on U.S. Soccer and on U.S. Soccer's YouTube page. But from now, I'm Mark Serber saying goodnight from Glenn Mooch Marinick Field, where it finishes the USA U-20 Women's National Team 0 and the Japan U-20 Women's National Team 3.